So, good morning. We are back. It is another Tuesday morning here in Muskoka for me. And I'm happy to lead you through another yoga therapy and physiotherapy integrated movement practice. So today we are expanding on last week's practice that was titled Eagle Inspired. This week we will take flight, balancing on one foot with our legs and our arms wrapped around each other in eagle pose. So for today, if you could find a strap, that would be great. That's the only prop we'll need. So let's get started. Coming right down onto the floor, lying down on your back. Knees can be bent, feet flat on the ground. And then we'll bring your strap into your hands so that you're holding the strap about shoulder width apart. Don't need to have too firm a grip on your strap, just enough so that you're connecting your arms gently. And then let's just hold arms here, finding that point where your hands seem to just float. Your arms are balanced. The arm bones are pressing down into the sockets of your shoulder blade. Your shoulder blades are pressed down against your mat. Being really easy, really gentle here. Notice what happens if you do just, let's say, 10% less. Can you maintain the same position, the same orientation where arms are 90 degrees relative to your torso? But with doing a little less effort to be here. Let's make this as easy as possible. Just breathing here. And then once again, is there any way you can make this another 10% easier? Perhaps decreasing the grip or the hold on your strap. Perhaps letting your arms, your shoulders slide back and down so you've got a really broad contact between your upper back and the ground beneath you. Perhaps by relaxing your jaw or the muscles around your eyes. Lovely. And from this base of relaxation, of ease, let's move from here. So the first movement we'll do is to press your hands up to the sky and then let your hands lower back down. So your hands are the part moving through space, but it's actually your shoulder blades sliding on the back of your rib cage, pushing your arms up. So as you reach up, your shoulder blades move away from your spine and kind of wrap around the side of your rib cage. And as your arms come back down, the shoulder blades slide down and tuck back in towards your spine. Easy going. Easy breath. Making this, again, as simple as possible. Shoulder blades moving on your rib cage. Breath just stays steady. Good. And then you can let that go. Bring your strap off to the side. We will need it again in a moment, so just leave it close by. And again, we'll start with your arms straight up towards the sky. This time, I'm going to have you bend your elbows so that your forearms come parallel to the ground and to the ceiling above. And we're going to start with some rotation. So I'm going to twist a little bit here so that you can see my arms. So we'll start with arms straight. So fingers are pointing behind you, up towards the head of the mat. Elbows are pointing down towards the foot of your mat. And we're going to rotate at the shoulder joint so that your forearms come across, and then rotate back, pointing up towards your head again, and then rotate, switching which arm comes on top each time. So rotating in and out. Good. Just easy again. Let your torso really relax and be in as much contact as possible with the ground. And then we'll add another movement on here. When your arms are pointing to the head and the foot of your mat, keep them that way for a moment, and then just lifting so that your fingertips may come to the floor over your head, and then coming back. And then we'll do a couple rotations, pause, shoulders come into flexion, arms overhead. As you bring your arms overhead, really try to let your rib cage stay nice and easy. There's no need for you to knit your rib cage down to your pelvis. There's no need for any kind of preemptive core contraction. Just notice how your core, your abdomen, your rib cage responds to these movements. Keeping your nice, easy breath. Good. One more time through internal, external rotation, and then shoulder flexion. Great. You can find your strap again, and making sure your strap is a nice one big loop, or even just not looped at all. You're going to bring one foot up into the strap. So for this movement, I'd ask that you have your knee as bent as it needs to be so that you can get your thigh perpendicular to the ground. So with thigh perpendicular to the ground, you can explore how bent or straight your knee wants to be from there. Again, having a really gentle grip on the strap. If possible, if your strap is long enough, can you have your elbows and your upper arms supported on the ground beside you? Good. So we'll just hold here at center. Stillness, one leg up, the other leg is has some options, bent with your foot on the ground, or you're welcome to extend your leg out straight. And again, just as we started with the arms up into the sky, with this one leg up into the sky, can you make this 10% easier? Gentle grip through your hands. Torso staying pliable, easy, so that it can expand and gently contract to generate your breath. Okay. Bring your both sides of the strap across your body into the opposite arm from the leg that you have raised up. And I'd like you to feel how flat your pelvis is on the ground here. And then you're going to gently guide your leg across your body, but only so far as your pelvis stays totally level. So my pelvis is level. As I bring my leg across, there's a certain tipping point where, for me, the left side of my pelvis might want to roll up off the ground. I'm not going to go past that tipping point, just going to nudge into it. Good. And then just moving back and forth. So from center, pointing right up to the sky, off to the side a few times. And then holding the final position with your leg in this adducted position. Wonderful. Let's come back up and you can switch sides. So loop your other foot through. Lifting the leg, finding that position where your hip is at 90 degrees of flexion. So your thigh is perpendicular to the ground. And then playing, exploring how straight can your knee be? So with this exploration of like how straight your knee can be, you want it obviously to not hurt. So as you extend your knee more, there's a little more tension. You're putting more pull down the back line of your leg. And so we don't want that to be painful in any way. And also, as you extend your knee, we don't want that movement to come up into your low back. So if as you extend your knee, you're noticing you're having to your pelvis is tilting and your low back is pushing more down into the ground, then let's not go there for this practice either. Keeping your low back nice and easy and just extending through the knee. If you notice that movement kind of rippling or carrying over into other parts of you, then you've gone far enough. So we'll hold here and play with making this a little bit easier. 10% easier. All right, then bringing the straps across into the opposite hand and gently guiding your leg across your body, adducting at the hip joint and then back, pointing up towards the ceiling. Moving across, finding out, noticing how much movement, how much adduction do you have at your hip before another part of your body joins into the movement. And when the other part that will likely join in here is your pelvis. So I want your pelvis to stay grounded, to stay stable, but easily stable. You're not having to contract the bejesus out of your core to hold your pelvis stable and then force your leg further. You're just moving your leg in an easy way across and then just stopping the movement just before you start to feel your pelvis rolling. And then let's hold in our adducted position for a moment. And then back up to center. And we can get the strap unhooked. And we're going to come all the way up into standing for our last few poses, ending, of course, in eagle pose. So come on up onto your feet and just take a moment to feel what you feel as you first come up into standing. We spent some time building awareness through gentle movements around your hip and your pelvic girdle and around your shoulders and your shoulder girdle. So feel what it's like to be vertical. Easy breath. Good. Come on up to the top line of your mat. And then gently shift your weight into your left leg. So done in a way that your pelvis doesn't need to lift or hike or twist, just gently shifting your weight so that you can step back into an easy lunge position. So right leg steps back. Hands can come to your chest and let your chin just rest on your fingertips. We're going to add a little twist. So your rib cage and your chest will turn towards the bent front leg. Good. Then coming back to center and then stepping forward. Keep your weight all the way on your left foot. Step forward and bring your ankle to the opposite knee. Then we'll come down into a little chair pose. Good. Standing back up tall and step back into the lunge again. Add the twist. Unwind the twist, stepping forward, ankle to knee, and a little squat type action. Here we go, staying in this flow. Lunge, twist, ankle to knee, a little chair pose. Let's do 2 more. As you work through these last 2 on this side, you guessed it, can you make it a little easier? Where are you exerting more effort or more force than you need to? Let's throw in one last one here. As easy as possible. Good. And then standing, arms can come back down, back in Tadasana, and feel what you feel. As we move through this flow on the other side, now that you're familiar with the movements that are to come, I'd like you to bring your awareness to your trunk. So to your pelvic girdle, your shoulder girdle, and everything in between. See if you can keep your trunk from getting kind of pulled around from the movements of your arms and your legs. So your trunk is going to stay nice and stacked, except for when we add the twist. Then, of course, your ribs and your pelvis, they change their relationship in the twist. But just seeing if you can feel that easy, steady, neutral relationship in your torso. So weight will come into your right leg this time. Pelvis stays nice and steady. Ribs are just stacked on top. Good. And we'll begin. Hands come up to your chin. An easy step back into the lunge. Add the twist. Back to center. Torso now stays nice and neutral. Ribs and pelvis maintain their relationship as you come knee to ankle to knee with a little squat. Come on back. Twist in the lunge. Ankle to knee. Squat down. Torso easy this whole time. Legs moving in a way that doesn't like pull your torso, doesn't pull your pelvis and your low back around with it. Good. Last 2. Make them easier. Good. And then standing tall. Feeling what you feel. Having woken up the legs a little bit. And now we'll come into our eagle pose. So if you'd like to have a chair or be near a wall, because there is As you know, a bit of a balancing component here. And heading into eagle, now we get to put all of this work that we've done building awareness of the relationship between shoulder girdle and pelvic girdle, all of this movement that we've nurtured at the shoulder joints and at the hip joints, we get to bring that all together into this eagle pose. So bringing a little bit, shifting your weight into your left leg once again. We'll start by bringing the legs in first. You're going to lift the right leg and bring your ankle up to your knee. So notice as you brought your leg up, did your pelvis get pulled along with the movement? So you don't want to see any side bending action happening. So ankle to knee, wonderful. Let's add that little bend that we did in our last flow. Beautiful. Now, sliding your leg across. So that adduction movement that we did with the strap, same thing here. Leg comes across, but only so far as your pelvis can stay level. Sometimes as we go across, our pelvis will dip to help us bring that leg further across. For today's practice, let's keep nurturing this nice, easy, neutral torso, neutral pelvis. So slide across and notice if and when your pelvis wants to dip. Good. So you come to knee on top of knee. You can choose to kickstand your toe on the ground outside your leg, the foot that you're standing on, or you may wrap your foot in around behind. Wonderful. Let's bring in the arms. So arms will come up, similar to when we were doing our internal external rotation, then arms overhead. And we're going to bring right arm underneath. Our right leg is on top, right arm's going to come underneath. Good. Then play with your internal external rotation here. Good. So maybe you stay with hands on your shoulders. Maybe they come up here. Maybe backs of your hands are together. And maybe you're able to wrap around so palms come together. Wherever you've gone, though, notice if your rib cage has had to bend or flex forward. Just let your arms move freely on the backs of your ribs. Beautiful. Eagle pose. Now, can you make this 10% easier? Good. Let's unwind. And standing tall. Other side. Weight gently shifts into your right foot. Moving your leg in a way at the hip joint that your pelvis can stay level to bring your ankle up to your knee. Then we add that little bit of a chair pose coming down. Good. Now moving, adducting at your hip in a way, again, that your pelvis can stay level. Wonderful. You choose whether your toes kickstand or wrap around behind. Good. And let's add the arms. Left knee is on top, so left elbow will come underneath. And then let's play with internal, external rotation at the shoulder joints. And find your eagle on this side. Keeping it easy. Right, we can unwind and come back into your easy standing pose and feel what you feel here. Check in with the results of your practice. Thank you once again for joining me. We'll be back next week with another practice. If you have any questions or comments, please feel free to leave them in the comments below. See you next week, everyone.